Hi guys, so first off, happy Valentine's Day. I hope you have an awesome Valentine's Day and do a lot of fun things. I'm not really doing anything fun. I have a doctor's appointment. Yay. But anywho, a thing that I have noticed a lot of teen girls asking is, how did you tell your parents? How do I tell my parents? What do I do? Because it's really scary, because at the time it seems so scary. Like, the most terrifying part is telling your family and your friends and dealing with other people's reactions. I think the number one advice that I would give is tell them as soon as possible. Don't procrastinate, don't take forever, because the longer you wait, the longer it takes them to get used to the idea of you having a child. Like, I told the people who I waited to tell were offended, like really offended that I waited to tell them. And I waited to tell my mom a day, and she was upset that I knew for a day and didn't tell her. Also, it just sort of gives everyone a chance to like get used to the idea and be okay with it if you tell them sooner. Also, I would suggest just flat out saying, like, I'm pregnant, and being straight up about it, and not beating around the bush, and not texting them, and not emailing them or sending them a Facebook message to tell them. Like, tell them to their face and tell them just straight up, like, I'm pregnant. And it's really hard at the time, but they'll respect you a lot for it later, that you actually had the guts to out and say it, than if you had texted them or something and waited forever to tell them. But so how I told my parents is, when I first found out, I was 6 weeks, and I knew I had to tell my parents, or at least my mom, because I had to go to a doctor's appointment. And I told my sister first, and when the day that I found out, I told my sister, and she's 16 months younger than me, and we're really close, so I just said, Kitty, I'm pregnant. And she was like, oh, okay, and then was inquiring about buying clothing for him, which is, like, she was more concerned about buying clothes for him and buying him or her stuff, we didn't know the gender at the time, than anything else. And then the day after, I told my mom, and she was upset I waited, but I just pretty much, I went outside with my sister. I had my sister to protect me from her. And I said, and she was outside with the dog or whatever, and I said, hey Mom, like, I need to talk to you. And she said, okay, and I said, you should sit down. She said, nah, I'm fine, I'm just going to keep sitting. And Kitty said, no, you should really sit down. And she's like, you're pregnant, aren't you? And I said, yep. And that's how that went. And she said she was disappointed, but, and at first, like, people call her grandma, and she was like, I'm not a grandma. I'm way too young to be a grandma. But now she's totally gotten into grandma mode. She's gotten Marcus, like, she's knit him, actually I have them right here. She's knit him, like, 2 blankets. This one, and they're gorgeous. And then this one's hooded. And they're just, and she's been an amazing grandma so far. She's definitely gone into the grandma mode. But, anywho, and then my dad, I didn't want him to find out until I was 12 weeks pregnant, at least. Because until you're 12 weeks, you have, like, the chances of having a miscarriage is a lot higher. And, my dad has a really big mouth, and I knew that he would tell everyone, and I wasn't ready for everyone to know yet. But when I was about, like, 7 weeks pregnant, I was in the car with my dad, and he was complaining. He's also a big complainer. He was complaining about how his lower back hurt, how he was nauseous, how he had heartburn, and he listed off like 15 pregnancy symptoms, like stereotypical pregnancy symptoms, and I was like, I don't know, Dad, sounds like you're pregnant, like along the lines of like, maybe you're pregnant. Kidding, obviously, because he's a male. But he didn't really say anything after that. And then the next day, my mom was talking to me and said something about how she thought I was waiting to tell Dad, and I was like, what are you talking about? And apparently my dad had misunderstood me and gone up to my mom and said, Amber told me she's pregnant, and my mom said, oh, she told you? So that's how my dad found out. And then my aunts that I have like a huge family. My aunts that I'm close with, two of them who are my like full aunts on my mom's side, I told them in person. One of them was in North Carolina, one of them was in Boston. I told them at 10 and 12 weeks, and they said I'm pregnant. And my one in North Carolina, I think I started crying both times when I told them, just because I was feeling really emotional, and I care what their opinions are of me a lot, because, yeah, obviously. And then after that, I'm not really like as close with any of my other aunts, so my mom told the other ones, and my dad told his when I was like a little bit over 12 weeks, and I didn't really tell anyone else. And then when I found out the gender at 18 weeks, I waited a little bit, and then I made a sort of like general Facebook announcement for the rest of my family, because I have so many cousins. Like, I have 14 aunts and uncles, and a billion cousins, billion second cousins, like, huge family. So I made a Facebook announcement, and I just had my hands holding little blue booties, and it said, it's a boy, because I just found out it's a boy, and there was a quote, a Winnie the Pooh quote, that I can't remember it exactly, but it was along the lines of, it's funny how, like, the littlest things take up the most room in our heart. And that's this week, and I said, yes, I am in fact pregnant, and people were genuinely supportive. Like, I think I've only had a few instances with people being rude or not supportive, which is nice. So that is how I told my family and friends, and I would definitely highly suggest not waiting and telling them as soon as possible, because the longer you wait, the harder it is, and the scarier it is, and the more offended people get. So, yeah, definitely tell people. Thank you for watching, and message me anything that you would like me to go over in videos, or what you find interesting to watch, because I have no idea. Personally, I just like to watch people open stuff in videos, and I like to watch babies. So just tell me what you would like me to do videos of. Thank you. Bye.